Welcome to part 12 of the mod making series for locked loot containers. In the last part, we actually made quite a bit of progress with in terms of actually like doing some functional interesting things, I guess, that being actually making the chest unlockable as well as lootable. And in this episode, I was having some ideas of what I wanted to do in this one. And some of the stuff I actually came up with like a lot of plans for future features for the mod as we work here. You know, details and polish stuff like that. I got most I mean, I have other things too, but I got a lot of the ones that I thought of today written here. But the thing that I wanted to focus on today most likely is working on getting the bashing and spell opening options working similar to the unlock version that we currently have. Just change the text here and there just to make it so it looks different. Likely start adding more variables and parameters to the LLC object to be used later by other planned characteristics, material of stuff like that and everything. I guess without much more waffling, let's get started. Music on. So as I said, at least for the time being, it's gonna be mostly copy and paste job, just with a few things changed. And then we will go into more detail with that stuff later. Alright, so I did, as I said, copy and pasted from the picklock version. And I just basically put the exact same things under the one for bash, the one for anchor. I'm sorry, the one for bash, the one for the open spell, and I just changed the text, basically. Um, so later on, I want different stuff to happen with bash. But for right now, just to test with the potential like I don't know, feedback or characteristics of it. I definitely want there to be different sounds eventually for like not just the click open for each one, but that's for another time when I'll add different sounds and such. But I want the sprite to look different for if you bash the chest open. Um Possibly not every time, but in this case just for testing I want it because I want that to be a thing eventually. Like if you bash a chest and open it, but you bash it too hard or whatever, like it you get unlucky, whatever, and you damage the chest and you damage the contents. I want it to look different, not just be another open chest. So I'm going to uh add another flat, or I guess another sprite that's gonna just be for right now. Archive 812. So that's the texture we're going to use. It doesn't look anything like a chest, but it was some like masonry rubble thing that I made for another thing. But it looks broken up and stuff, so for right now, it's good enough. I'll have to remember to import that and everything in the Unity editor and such. Alright, now that we have those little copy and paste jobs done, I'm going to actually, because I'm pretty sure it'll work. I mean, you know, stuff can happen, but I'm fairly certain it'll work in this case. So, the next thing I'm going to do, just because I don't feel like opening the editor just yet to test that, add more variables and parameters to the LLC object based on the later plans I have for the for this particular LLC object chest stuff. So just, even though I have some already, I'll just add them here. Even though, like I said, I don't have the actual types I'm going to be using yet for that, uh, these values, but I will later. For now, I'll just do a placeholder int value. So it'll be like chest material, which I'm not sure what materials, like I said, I'll be using exactly, but a lock material. So now that I got those four, at least right now planned values, in there, I'll start adding some other parameters as well that I just thought of before, such as the number of times that the chest was attempted to lockpick, as well as to bash open by the player. Like how many times they already tried it on this particular chest. Oh yeah, and with that, with these two parameters now added, locks picks attempted and bashes attempted. I remember that I was gonna add a eventually something that if you like lock pick it too much, or if you try to pick it too much and you have like bad luck, like actually bad luck with your attribute and like just a bad roll or something, um, you know, depending on the complexity and stuff like that, you can jam the locking mechanism, causing it so you can't keep picking it basically, or you can't keep attempting it. So then at that point you'd be forced to possibly open it up magically. I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that one, but you'd be basically forced to try and bash it open, which, you know, depending on how I do it, the material of the lock might make it so, you know, you're not strong enough to break the lock by force, or your weapon is not heavy enough to do it. Stuff like that. So you could potentially, depending on your character, lock yourself out from opening a chest, instead of just, like, allowing you to infinitely attempt it kind of thing. Because, you know, hey, if you screw with the lock too much, eventually you might actually jam it and make it so you have to cut it off. So I think that makes enough sense. But I'll have to add another bool up here for is lock jammed? Is lock jammed? And yeah, it seems like there's a lot of stuff I'm adding here, which there is. I don't know. I'm that kind of person. I like details like this, I guess. I like sort of details, interactivity like this. So when I have the ability to kind of just add so many like variables, parameters, aspects to something such as this, I kind of go crazy. But I figure it's like, hey, I might use it later on, so I might as well add it now while I have it on my mind. Another thing is, I'm not sure. I think the inspecting part, where it's going to give you extra information, important information about the chest. I think I'm probably going to make it like a static thing, where it's not really role based, based on your stats and everything like that. It's just going to kind of be like a static thing, because I could do it where it's a role-based thing, but then I would also have to consider, okay, well, if they try to inspect it again, does that mean they could just keep inspecting it over and over and trying to attempt to do, I don't know, to like change the outcome, basically? So then I would have to check for that and stuff, which it's not a problem necessarily, it's just kind of annoying. As well as if they're, it's kind of like with the doors, like the door locks on the vanilla doors and stuff, is that if you pick it once, you can't actually try to pick it again unless your skill changes in lockpicking, which is strange, but kind of makes a little bit of sense, but it's weird how it works. Like, I could do something like that, but I'm like, I think maybe I'll just make it easier on myself and just make it possibly static values. But for right now, I'll put, just in case, has been inspected as another bool value, because why not? Oh yeah, and there were some other characteristics that I might as well add now, like I said before I forget about them. Like cute flavor things that I would potentially sometimes add for the inspecting thing, for characters that are like particularly skilled uh in lockpicking and have a fairly high intelligence, like kind of like nerd details that people wouldn't know most of the time, but like somebody that is skilled in like lockpicking or something like that, they would have a large amount of knowledge about them. They would be something like, oh, who's the manufacturer of this lock? Where was it manufactured? Stuff like that. Just little flavor stuff like this was made in blank by blank company of this region or something. Just cute little stuff like that, probably randomized mostly. I think that'd be a cool little flavor text to add. Not so much incentive, but something cool to be like, oh, I inspected the chest. I have a high skill in lockpicking and high intelligence. I inspected this and I got some cool little randomized little flavor text thing that's, I don't know, adds a little bit of that realism immersion to the kind of world, I guess. I don't know. I like the idea. So, I'll probably make them some kind of text token. Text tokens are just easy to work with. Well, they're maybe difficult initially to work with, but they're easier to work with when you figure them out, kind of. So, I'll make it, I don't know. Lock, region, manufactured. Text or something. Company manufactured text. Something like that. I'm just a person who likes those kind of little details. I appreciate them, even if sometimes they don't add much overall. It's just, I don't know. It's something nice. That in my case, I think it's worth putting that extra effort into. Alright, so I think for right now at least, it's always going to change later. I have all the parameters I could think of at the moment on this LLC object now. I'm sure I'm going to change them and add more and remove some possibly later on and stuff, but for right now, here I'm actually going to change. Oh. Chest ID, load ID. Well, yeah, I'm those are basically the same thing, so I'll just remove that. Clean that up a bit. Here, I'll actually put load ID at the top. I don't know why, just because it makes me happy. Makes me happy to have it organized in a particular little way that looks pretty to me. But yeah, I think those are all the fields and parameters, like I said, I plan on adding right now. Which almost none of them I've really used, besides like the old loot and attached loot or whatever. Yeah, I think that's fine for that at least. And at least for this moment, I think it's fine for these other things here. So, just for the sake of it, I am going to launch Unity, and we will test it real quick to see if at least that one part works, and then I'll either end the video there afterward, or I'll continue on with something else on here, but we will see, and I'll be back in a sec. Alright, so we are back in our testing chamber, and we got the chests here. We will open it normally. Well, that works. Now we'll try with the anchor one. The lock effortlessly unlatches through use of magic. That works too. Now we'll try bash. The use of with use of brute force, the lock finally breaks open. So it turned into the rubble. It's still aligned to the ground, mostly. Alright, so that stuff appears to be working fairly unsurprisingly. So that is good. Well, now I will decide if we will continue on doing something else in this episode. Nah, I don't think I'll do any more today. I would like to, I guess, but I'm pretty tired. I'd like to just kind of relax and probably do the next part of the Let's Play for Daggerfall DOS that I'm doing. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. It's not much. It was very basic, but important nonetheless at the end of the day. And I will have to decide for the next episode what I plan on working on next. I mean, there's still a whole lot of stuff I need to do. Massive amount of stuff that I need to do. But I just need to pick and choose which one I want to work on first, basically. But yeah, in this one, got a little bit done, but so far it's going good though. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed that pretty short episode, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.